and YouTube, also on AM radio, 12:30 AM and 104.7 FM. Also streaming live on the TuneIn app. That's 6 places, 666. And I am standing outside of the Purdue Northwest Commercialization Center in Hammond, Indiana. And I do a little segment called JED in America. I don't know why I've started doing this. I just kind of thought there's so much going on in America that, and every little bit of news we get really kind of comes from like the coasts. You know what I mean? Mostly New York and Washington. And I thought, well, all this information's available. And we subscribe to the AP and so forth. So why don't I just start talking about it for a little while in the morning and kind of just get you up to snuff. And whether you live here in the Calumet region or you live somewhere else, you can pick it up. And I got a couple ideas on where it might go, but for now, this is called JED in America, and I'm just standing out here in Hammond listening to a faraway train. Now, there are a lot of peaceful sounds. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. In, you know, a fan at nighttime when you're trying to go to bed. Some of you have a white noise on your phone, or you listen to waves, or just music. Like we were just listening to some Grateful Dead. Is very peaceful to me. I'm going where those chilly winds don't blow. But is there anything more peaceful than late at night listening, hey, thanks for beeping, to the sound of a faraway train? I don't know what it is right now. It's cold here in the Midwest. Last night it was in the 40s, and it's late May already. It shouldn't be that cold, so for some reason the sound is traveling very well. And one man gathers what another man spills. By the way, if you want to listen to some good Grateful Dead music, Lane Paradis, the plumber who just drove by in his van, and I do a podcast called This Is Dead Air, and you can listen to that at thisisdeadair.com. We did one on Friday from Hartford, Connecticut, 1983, October 15th. We did some songs. We did China Cat and I Know You Rider. We did China Doll. We did Broke Down Palace. So it's a pretty good podcast, and you guys can listen to it. It's the 35th installment of that. Hey, let's take a look at what's going on right now. Since I was with you guys on Friday for JED in America and then JED in the region, so we'll finish this in about 10 minutes or so, and then I'll go in and do local radio show. And, you know, one of the things that we talk about is just, you know, I show up on Monday, and quite frankly, when I started doing this in 1985, believe it or not, and then I left for like 20 years and whatever. So I'm back. I've been doing radio back now for 14 years, basically. This show's been going on right now in the same spot, basically the same guy talking about the same stupid jokes for, I don't know, 10 and a half years. But it was always a joy when I was working in the mid-'80s to come in on Mondays. And for the first 10 years of doing my show, it's been pretty much a joy every morning to come in on a Monday morning. It really is. I just wake up and I go, yes, here's my job. I get to go to WJOB and talk on the radio. Hey, Pepsi! But anymore, like last Monday, you know what I came into? We came into a baby who had reportedly been brutally beaten. Some sort of, remember the woman out of Hobart, they say, killed her husband and may have killed other guys and may have served them up at a barbecue. Then we had the shooting of an 11-year-old boy right down the street here in East Chicago, and I'm like, wow, that was a tough Monday. Well, here on Monday, we come into here locally. We had a shooting at a bar. A policeman right here in East Chicago off duty at the bar in Highland, Indiana, right down the street here. Hey, what's up, big truck? Get shot in the head. And that was like something like 3 in the morning, an altercation. 2 cops got shot, one from Gary and one from East Chicago in this parking lot. Horrific story. But really what's on everybody's mind is this, and I should go with that. Congregations in the deeply religious community of Santa Fe, Texas, near Houston, gathered Sunday for their first services since a gunman blasted his way into a high school and killed 10 people, with one pastor lamenting the grief that none of us can comprehend. Just 2 days after the deaths of 8 students and 2 substitute teachers Graduating seniors also marked the end of the school year with a baccalaureate service that acknowledged the pain-racking Santa Fe, a town of 13,000. While Muslim mourners remembered the life of a slain exchange student from Pakistan. They will never be forgotten in this community, these young people. Children just going to school, said Brad Drake, the pastor of Dayspring Church, where a service was held that included memories of a slain student who was a congregant there. We have families today that are grieving a grief that none of us can comprehend. And so it goes. We arrive on a Monday once again to incredible grief. It really is. There's no other way to put it. And it sparked a pretty heavy gun debate over the weekend if you watched any of the news shows or listened or followed around on Facebook or Twitter. And the debate is raging. Texas governor, and I forget his name, appeared on Meet the Press yesterday, and sometimes I feel like just, when I came out of college, I worked here, I worked as a laborer, but I got a job as a public relations guy in downtown Chicago, believe it or not. And one of the things that we did, Dennis Quinlan and I, is we would coach CEOs on what's called risk communications. And sometimes I just get the feeling that I'd like to take a few of these people into a room and say, come here, let me talk to you for a second. All right, here's how you're going to answer this question. Here's how you're going to answer that question. Because the Texas governor won yesterday and did some incredibly just inane things. And then the parents, hey, Nipsco, all right, man. Hey, call before you dig. And then he was followed by two of the parents from recent school shootings, and I think it was the ones in the east side of Newtown or the East Coast, and they were just beside themselves that the guy would blame the shootings on video games. Hey, what's up, Chips? Hey, big garbage truck. And I just don't know where the debate is going. I'll tell you what, someone needs to take Texas governor in a room and say, come here, here's how we're going to answer these questions. I'll do it for a price. But I don't do that anymore. Every once in a while, somebody will call me and say, hey, Jed, how do I handle this media thing? I'm like, all right, well, here's how you do it. There's a couple of steps that you do. And sometimes they're just not that competent. You know what I mean? We're reading these elected leaders. Hey, big truck, big truck. You know what I'm saying? President Donald Trump said he will demand that the Justice Department investigate whether the FBI infiltrated his presidential campaign. An extraordinary order that came hours before his legal team said the special counsel indicated the investigation into the president could be concluded by September. Trump tweeted Sunday, I hereby demand, and will do so officially tomorrow, that the Department of Justice look into whether or not the FBI and the Department of Justice infiltrated or surveilled the Trump campaign for political purposes. And if any such demands or requests were made by people within the Obama administration. Big truck, big truck. Trump's demands puts further pressure on the Justice Department, which later Sunday asked its Inspector General to expand an existing investigation into the Russia probe by examining whether there was any improper politically motivated surveillance. It comes as the White House tries to combat the threat posed by Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into potential ties between Russia and the Trump campaign. Let's analyze this. Is it right for a guy to get elected president, duly elected by the people of America, and then as soon as he comes in, there's an investigation into like one aspect of him getting elected, but it really isn't. It is an investigation of everything Trump. Is that fair? What we want with our leaders? Hey, what's going on? Hey, how you doing? And people look like that guy's from Dunnett Bay. He's got some sort of weird piece of equipment. He might be just a scab doing some work at a local refinery. But in the end, he's working and he's going to work and he's looking out there and he's saying, what is that guy doing there? Staying there with a microphone, huh? ¿Cómo está usted? Bien. ¿Dónde está la sala? La sala no está en la cocina. Hey, anyways, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Do we want an America where everything you do, the president does, is under investigation? Can't the guy just have a little room to rule the country? I don't know. I don't know what the answer to this is, because this probe by Robert Mueller is kind of stultifying the country. Not economically. We're almost at full employment. My daughter is just graduated. She graduated, I don't know, she just now put her resume out a couple days ago. And I remember coming out of college at the University of California at Berkeley. I couldn't find a job anywhere. And I wound up finding a job at, believe it, of all places, right here at WJOB. And that has made all the difference, so says Robert Frost. But anyways, my daughter puts her resume out. And a couple hours later, she gets a couple phone calls. Hey, what are you doing? Nice. ¿Cómo estás? And I'm like, God, what a different world that is. So, I don't know. I mean, this like constant, all right, you're going to be elected president under constant surveillance and investigation. Everybody you ever really worked with and all of your financial dealings are now under scrutiny. Well, then who in the hell is going to want to be president, right? On the other hand, did a foreign power manipulate our institution? I have worked with them. Are we getting close to that? I sure as hell hope so. I'm tired of this, and so are you. All right, let's take a look at a couple of other things. You think you're having a bad day. White plumes of acid and extremely fine shards of glass billowed into the sky over Hawaii as molten rock from the Kilauea volcano poured into the ocean, creating another hazard from an eruption that began more than 2 weeks ago. The authorities are warning that the public stay away from the toxic steam cloud, which is formed by a chemical reaction when lava touches salt water. Further upslope, lava continued to gush out of large cracks in the ground that formed in residential neighborhoods in a rural Big Island. The molten rock formed rivers that bisected forests and farms as it meandered toward the coast. Now, the rate of sulfur dioxide gas shooting from the ground fissures tripled, leading Hawaii County to repeat warnings about air quality. At the volcano's summit, 2 explosive eruptions unleashed clouds of ash. Winds carried much of the ash towards the southwest. So that ought to get us going. I mean, what do you say about that? I mean, everybody can watch the eruptions. I think Christina was just showing some of that on the video here. And by the way, there's nobody here right now. There's this moment of peace. There's just 1 or 2 cars going by, and I just want to share this with you. It's brought to you by United Airlines. It's not. They would never advertise. UMass big truck. An Illinois House committee will take up Governor Bruce Rauner's plan to reinstate the death penalty in certain cases. They meet today for testimony on Rauner's proposals. Rauner added the death penalty to legislation that would extend the waiting period for delivery of assault weapons to 72 hours. Rauner's changes include included imposing 72 hours wait for all guns, a ban on bump stocks at speed rifle firing, authorizing confiscation of weapons from dangerous individuals, and more. So the gun debate will rage today. It will. Radio around America. You'll hear it on Laura Ingraham in a few hours. You'll hear it on Sam Michael. You'll hear it on Harlow's show in the afternoon. No, Harlow is out for a week. So we will have Tony Ponick and some other fill-ins. Takes a village to run an afternoon radio show. So my theory on this from the beginning, just kind of reaching back to my Berkeley sociology days, is kind of try to take a macro look at this. And I'm telling you right now, hi, how are you? That big truck, that there's a number out there somewhere that you could figure out. You know how like Facebook has the algorithm that nobody knows, the secret sauce, and then that's how they decide what goes up onto the feed. It's kind of like the algorithm that gives you the excuse to not make any judgments and just put everything up there. Well, I'm developing an algorithm, And what I want to develop an algorithm is that you can say whatever you want. It just goes right on radio, and I don't have anything to filter about it. Oh, no, I'm radio. I have to filter it. They don't. I do. I forgot. But anyways, this killer quotient or whatever, every so often I'm going to stand outside here in this parking lot and have to talk about little kids getting shot in school. It's just going to happen because there's so many guns. And then there's so many people that are kind of on the edge, right? So we have created a society in which we have a ton of guns, and we have de-emphasized basically taking care of the mentally ill. So you have a combustion point, and it may continue on, and every so often somebody kind of on the edge, usually a young male, is going to get a hold of some guns and is going to shoot something up. And that's just a quotient that we can figure out. I don't know if there's any way around that. It's just there. It's just, there's guns, there's people on the edge, and they're going to get together. And even like the one on Santa Fe, Texas, looks like he got a hold of some of his parents' guns, right? I mean, basically, you can say all you want with Browner saying a 72-hour wait for an assault rifle. What is that going to do? You could go buy one right now. You just drive down to that. Well, I'm not going to tell you where, but you could drive down and get an illegally purchased gun or even a purchased gun if you want to go to a gun show or whatever. So, you know, I've always been like just, all right, man, we just, you know, guns are part of our culture. I've shot guns. I've gone hunting. I'm not this like anti-gun guy or anything by any stretch. As a matter of fact, there's a certain sport to it that I've enjoyed before and shot. Not a lot, but like, all right, well, you know, guns, you know, we have the right to bear arms. I respect the Constitution as much as everybody, but I don't know, because if we're going to carry this constitutional right to if it's going to just live in a world where the guns keep getting better and bigger and more available, and we just keep producing more and more people that maybe that governor's right, that are watching video games, that are just can't process all of the social media violence and other violence that comes into them, and plus they're upset about something, and then it's just a poof. It's just going to go poof. My theory is that there's a way to figure out what the relative regularity of school shootings is going to be. I hate to put it that way. And, I mean, I don't even want to do any work on that. I'm not going to, like, say, all right, here's how many guns there are. Here's how many violent games come out. Let's put it all into a hopper. And that would take me forever. But because I haven't worked with, you know, statistics in a long time, it would be like going back to school. Speaking of going back to school, I'm in the middle of a consumer behavior class right now, and that is a 16-week class that has been squished down into 6 weeks at Purdue Northwest over here. Spent the entire weekend doing consumer behavior problems and quizzes and assignments, and so I'm just ready to be out here with you guys. Yesterday, 60 Minutes did a really good story on Google and all of the information that they are able to gather on you. It is just astounding. It also comes out that in 2011 or 2012, there was a minor investigation of Google as a monopoly. Hey, what's up? And some of their tactics. A report was written by staffers that says, you know, we should probably investigate Google, and then nothing was done. So it also shows that Google is one of the most influential lobbying firms and has hired dozens of them across America. So right now, as I'm speaking, this is on the internet. This is probably being monitored in some way by Google. And it's kind of weird because nobody cares about the turd state. And I've told you guys that. We have two basic states going on here. Got this kind of liberal thing going on, and then we got this kind of conservative thing going on. Hey, thanks for beeping! And then no one's paying any attention to the technological state that has developed. And here's how powerful Google is. You saw it. You got to watch this thing on Facebook or on 60 Minutes. And it's kind of weird because I'm watching it. My daughter's cooking dinner, and she's like, well, why is that such a big deal? She's, what, 22, 23? 22. And I go, what do you mean? Why is it such a big deal? Do you want people to have your information? She goes, I'll tell you what, man. When I'm driving along and I want to know what movie's playing at what time, I don't go to Fandango or AMC Theaters. I just go, hey, Google, what is the show time for the Avengers? And then it comes up and it shows where I'm at and it shows where I'm going. And then for the next few days, it'll show me ads all about different movies in case I want to go see them. She's like, that's really kind of cool. I like it. And I'm like, is that the attitude? Is it the attitude of young people? I don't care about my privacy. I just want to be convenient. Maybe it is. Maybe we're making old 60 Minutes people are all crotchety about privacy and nobody at the younger age really cares. I don't know. But I will tell you, hey, Budweiser, hey, this Bud's for you. Big truck, you. And so here's the deal. Here's how, you guys have heard me talk a lot about Facebook. I'm a lover of Facebook. We do a lot. Right now we're streaming on Facebook. Yesterday, I went to the Starbucks at the corner of US 41 and 45th in Cherville, Indiana. I worked out. It's 9:10 on a Sunday morning, and I pull up, and I'm like, the drive-thru's open. There's no cars here. What in Sam Hill's going on? There's just like 2 or 3. So I back up, and I do something I never do, which is go through the drive-thru because there's always like 5 or 6 people waiting, and I always just walk in. I get in the drive-thru. I'm like, hey, you know, can I get my wife's coffee, and can I get a latte? And she's like, well, I can get you a latte, but I can't get you the coffee. I'm like, what are you talking about? She says, we don't have coffee today. I'm like, excuse me? It's Sunday morning, and Starbucks doesn't have coffee. No, our roaster went kaput. Hey, what's up? Thanks for peeping. Our roaster went kaput after 18 years. So I pull up, and I go, oh, really? Well, can you get my wife something? And they basically, I think they gave yesterday's coffee and put some ice in it and threw something in it. And I said, all right, thank you. I go, you know, I'm going to have to talk about this on the radio, and I'm going to have to tweet it. And the lady's like, no, don't do that. Come on. I go, it's my job. You know, this kind of thing. Starbucks does the coffee. So I pull around the corner behind Oberweis, and I sit there for a few minutes, and I tweet it out. I say, Starbucks doesn't have coffee today, and I show a picture, and it's just kind of a cute thing, and I'm like, man, should I do this? The woman asked me nicely not to, and I said, all right. In it, I said, the barista was very apologetic and nice, but their roaster, I mean, I'm not criticizing it, I'm just alerting people. The roaster's down after 18 years, and if you want to get coffee, whatever, you can go somewhere else. So I'm like, man, I'm sitting there with my thumb. Should I tweet it or not? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to tweet it because that's just how it is. I'm not criticizing Starbucks. I'm not criticizing the woman. I'm just telling that information. So I hit tweet. I go, all right, I'm going to drive home. I drive around the corner, and I come up to the light, and I'm not paying attention as well as I should be. And I go right onto Indianapolis Boulevard. It's 30 seconds after I have tweeted something that isn't all that nice about Starbucks, right? Well, this shows you how powerful Starbucks is. I made that right turn, and then the lights came on right behind me. Officer Brian Orth of the Highland Police Department. Mr. D, look, can I see your license? And here I am. I'm like, did you hang it right there? I go, you know, I'm kind of turned around right now. Starbucks doesn't have coffee. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm telling you right there, they don't have coffee. It's like you're making that up. Are you okay, Mr. D? No, I'm telling you right now. And I just tweeted it, and he was like, all right, well, here's your warning ticket. Go on your way. So the moment I tweeted something remotely negative about Starbucks, I get pulled over 30 seconds later. Sounds kind of fishy to me. You know what else sounds kind of fishy? That we're going to end this right now, and I'm going to go inside, and we're going to do the morning radio show. Thanks a lot for watching and listening to JED in America. Just try to talk about some of the stuff going on in America. We're at a weird time. Weird stuff is happening. Good stuff, really bad stuff, really horrific stuff. But I'll tell you what, it's all us. We make it. It's our country. I'm Jim Deedlow, host of JED in America here on AM 1230 WJOB 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana. Also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.